There are moments when God interrupts your life not to comfort you, but to warn you. Some of you are not tired because life is hard. You are tired because you have been carrying things God never asked you to carry, and it is quietly costing you more than you realize. If you are hearing these words right now, this moment was not random, not delayed, not misplaced. It was interrupted on purpose by God to reach you exactly where you are. This message meets you in the middle of exhaustion, in the quiet ache of trying again and again with no visible return, in the heaviness of days that repeat without progress, in the weight of responsibilities that feel larger than your strength, in the silent worry about money, direction, and whether your effort still matters. God sees how long you have carried this, how much you have given without applause, how often you kept moving while feeling empty inside. You have been faithful while tired, hopeful while discouraged, strong while quietly unraveling. And heaven has not overlooked one single tear, one unseen sacrifice, one prayer whispered through clenched teeth. The pressure you feel is not proof of failure. It is evidence that a transition is forming beneath the surface. The season that drained you is reaching its final breath, and a divine shift has already begun, whether your circumstances have caught up yet or not. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? Isaiah 43-19. What felt like stagnation was preparation. What felt like delay was alignment. What felt like loss was God clearing space. The atmosphere around your life is changing. The resistance is loosening. And what has been withheld is now moving toward you with speed. We went through fire and through water, yet you have brought us out to a place of abundance. Psalm 66-12. Relief is not a distant idea. It is approaching. Reassurance is not imagined, it is anchored in divine timing, and hope is rising because God has already gone ahead of you. Stay with this message, because one of the next parts will name something you have been carrying without realizing it. And if you leave too early, you may miss the very reason this interruption was necessary. Number 1. Some of you are not exhausted because you are weak. You are exhausted because you have been carrying responsibility God never assigned to you. This word is for the one who is exhausted from carrying weight that was never meant to stay on your shoulders. For the one who has worked, waited, prayed, and pushed forward for so long that tiredness has settled into your bones and begun to whisper lies about your worth. God sees the quiet panic about money, the mental math you do late at night, the fear of making one wrong move and losing what little stability you have managed to hold together. God sees the way every day can feel like a loop with different dates but the same pressure, the same questions, the same sense that no matter how much effort you give, nothing seems to shift. This is not laziness. This is not lack of faith. This is not failure. This is weariness from endurance. You have been strong for too long, responsible for too much, and silent about how heavy it has become. Heaven validates that pain without shaming you for it. And God names it gently because He knows how close you are to giving up on yourself, even if you have not said it out loud. Take a breath. There is a quiet hope forming here, not loud or dramatic, but steady. Because God has been watching every unseen sacrifice, and every time you chose to keep going when stopping would have been easier. The Lord knows the days of the blameless, and their inheritance shall be forever. Psalm 37-18. This season did not come to define you. It came to refine you. And now the weight you have been carrying is reaching its limit. Your season of struggle is over. The chains of scarcity are breaking. The tide is turning. What felt immovable is loosening, and what felt delayed is beginning to move. This is not motivational language. This is a declaration anchored in divine timing. And now, listen carefully, because the responsibility is no longer on you to force, fix, or figure everything out. God says clearly and calmly, I will carry what you can no longer hold. In Scripture, Elijah stood at the edge of exhaustion, isolated and fearful, and God did not argue with his weakness. God sent provision in an unexpected way, feeding him daily through ravens when there was no visible source and no logical plan. And the supply came just enough, right on time, again and again. Those who seek the Lord shall not lack any good thing. Psalm 34-10. This is how God works when strength runs out. He steps in without spectacle and sustains you until the next shift arrives. What comes next in this message will activate and confirm what your spirit has already started to recognize, and you will not want to miss the moment when clarity replaces confusion. Chosen one, if this is speaking to you, support this message. Like the video, subscribe, and write "I receive" in the comments. Now breathe and stay with me, because the next part is for the season you're in right now. Number 2, self-reliance feels responsible. But spiritually, it is exhausting because God never designed you to survive without Him. This word reaches the one who has been holding everything together by sheer will. The one who learned to survive by being capable, dependable, and strong because there was no room to fall apart. God sees how long you have carried responsibility that never slowed down, how often you told yourself you had to figure it out because no one else would, how exhaustion crept in not from laziness, but from doing too much alone for too long. This is for the one whose mind never rests, whose plans keep multiplying because the future feels uncertain, whose finances or direction feel fragile enough that letting go seems dangerous. You did not become this way because you are proud. You became this way because you had to survive. Heaven is not accusing you. Heaven is acknowledging how tired independence has made you. Pause here. God validates the pressure you have been under and the fear beneath it. The fear that if you stop pushing, everything might collapse. The fear that trusting too much could cost you what little control you have left. Yet a quiet hope is forming. Not loud, not dramatic, just steady. Because God has been close, even when you felt like you had to be your own solution. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3-5. You were never meant to carry vision, provision, and direction alone. And the weariness you feel is not proof you are weak. It is proof you have been overextended without divine support. Now hear this. Your season of struggle is over. The chains of scarcity are breaking. The tide is turning. The cycle of strain, pressure, and silent fear is losing its grip, and the shift you have been bracing for has already begun moving beneath the surface. This is the central truth you can rest in, without debate or effort. God Himself is taking responsibility for what you can no longer manage. In Scripture, Moses stood before the burning bush, feeling unqualified, overwhelmed, and aware of his limits, and God did not ask him to become stronger or more confident. God said He would be with him, and that was enough to change history. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. This is how God works when self-reliance reaches its end. He steps in with calm authority and removes the weight from human shoulders. What comes next in this message will unlock and confirm what your spirit has already begun to sense. And staying here will matter more than you realize. Number 3. Some cycles don't continue because God won't help you. They continue because the pattern has never been interrupted. This word comes to the one who feels quietly trapped in a cycle they never planned to stay in. The one who is tired of trying to be better and still waking up disappointed in themselves. The one who carries shame they never talk about and wonders if their weakness has disqualified them from ever moving forward. God sees how exhaustion has blurred your boundaries, how loneliness, stress, pressure, or fear of the future made escape feel easier than resistance. This is not spoken to condemn you. It is spoken to name what you have been silently fighting so you no longer feel invisible or alone in it. You did not fall into this because you are broken beyond repair. You fell because you were tired, hungry for relief, and searching for comfort in the middle of prolonged strain. God validates the battle without excusing the wound, and He sees how long you have wanted out of the loop, but did not know how to stop it. Pause here. There is a quiet hope forming because conviction itself is proof that your spirit is still alive and responsive. Proof that heaven has not abandoned you or written you off. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Psalm 51:10. This moment is not about perfection. It is about restoration beginning to breathe again where numbness tried to settle. Now, hear this. Your season of struggle is over. The chains of captivity are breaking. The tide is turning. What has kept you cycling between regret and resolve is losing its authority, and the grip of this habit is weakening even now. This is the central truth that shifts everything. God Himself is taking responsibility for your healing, your strength, and your deliverance. In Scripture, Joseph stood in a private room with temptation, pressing hard and no witnesses present. And when he ran, he did not run toward applause, he ran toward freedom. And God honored that unseen choice by lifting him into a future he could not have imagined. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Matthew 5-8. This is how God works when a pattern is interrupted. He replaces shame with clarity and restores vision where compromise once clouded it. What comes next in this message will unlock and confirm what your spirit is already sensing beneath the surface. And staying with it will matter more than you think. Number 4. Complaining often sounds like honesty, but over time, it quietly trains the heart to focus on lack instead of provision. This word is for the one who feels worn down by life, moving slower than expected, for the one who wakes up already tired because the same pressures keep returning with no visible change. God sees how disappointment has piled up quietly, how finances feel tight no matter how careful you are, how the future looks foggy enough that frustration slips into your thoughts before hope even has a chance. This is not about you being negative or unfaithful. It is about how prolonged waiting and repeated strain can drain joy without you noticing. Heaven recognizes how easy it becomes to focus on what is missing when you have been surviving for so long, how complaints can slip out not because you are ungrateful, but because you are exhausted. God validates that weariness and names it gently, because you are not weak for feeling this way. You are human under pressure. Stay with me. There is a quiet hope beginning to surface because awareness itself means the cycle is being interrupted, and heaven is already leaning close to steady your perspective. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Lamentations 3:22-23. Even now, grace is renewing itself around you in ways you have not been counting yet. Now listen, your season of struggle is over. The chains of scarcity are breaking. The tide is turning. What has felt like endless lack, delay, and irritation is losing its power, and the atmosphere around your life is shifting from survival into provision. This is the central declaration that brings peace. God Himself is taking responsibility for sustaining you, supplying you, and restoring your vision. In Scripture, 10 lepers were healed by Jesus. All received the miracle, but only one turned back with gratitude. And that one did not just receive healing, he received wholeness and freedom at a deeper level, because thanksgiving opened a greater door than need ever could. Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God. 1 Thessalonians 5:18. This is how God works when perspective realigns. He multiplies what was already present and lifts the weight you were never meant to carry alone. Complaints lose their grip when gratitude begins to speak, and your heart starts to breathe again without forcing optimism. What comes next in this message will activate and confirm what your spirit has already begun to feel shifting, and you will want to stay because the next moment will unlock what this awareness has prepared you for. Number 5. Distance from God rarely begins with rebellion. It begins with exhaustion that goes unattended. This word reaches the one who feels empty without knowing exactly when it happened. The one who kept going outwardly while something quietly dimmed inside. God sees how long you have been running on habit instead of hunger, how fatigue from trying so hard in life slowly drained the desire to be still, to pray, to listen. This is for the one who feels stuck in the same emotional and spiritual place, worried about the future, carrying pressure about provision and purpose, yet too tired to reach for God the way you once did. You did not stop caring. You became worn down. You did not lose faith. You lost energy. Heaven recognizes that neglect did not come from rebellion, but from overload, distraction, and survival mode. God validates the ache beneath the apathy, the longing beneath the numbness, and He names it with compassion so you know you are seen. Pause here. there is a quiet hope awakening because even noticing the distance means your heart is still alive and responsive. My soul longs, yes, faints for the courts of the Lord. Psalm 84:2. That longing has not disappeared. It has only been buried under noise, responsibility, and exhaustion. And now hear this clearly. Your season of struggle is over. The chains of scarcity are breaking. The tide is turning. What felt dry and stagnant is beginning to shift, and the heaviness that made devotion feel like effort is losing its hold. This is the central declaration that brings rest. God Himself is taking responsibility for rekindling what you no longer have strength to ignite. In Scripture, Elijah collapsed under a tree after giving everything he had, burned out, afraid, and empty. And God did not scold him for withdrawing. God fed him, let him sleep, and then spoke not in fire or wind, but in a gentle whisper that restored him from the inside out. Those who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. Isaiah 40:31. This is how God works when devotion has grown quiet. He meets you softly, supplies what you lack, and rebuilds desire without pressure or shame. You are not disqualified because the flame grew low, and you are not abandoned because your altar felt empty. God has been patient, present, and near, waiting for space rather than perfection. What comes next in this message will activate and confirm what your spirit is already beginning to feel stirring again. And staying with it will matter, because the next moment will unlock what this hunger is preparing you to receive. Number 6. This word comes to the one who has quietly stopped expecting anything to change. Lowering expectation feels like protection, but it quietly suffocates hope. This is deeper than exhaustion, deeper than disappointment, deeper than distraction. This is the slow ache of deferred hope, the moment when you kept believing for so long that your heart learned to protect itself by lowering its expectations. God sees how many times you hoped and were let down, how many prayers felt unanswered, how many doors stayed closed even after you did everything right. You didn't stop trusting God out loud, you stopped trusting outcomes in silence. You kept showing up, but you stopped imagining a different future because it hurt too much to hope again. Heaven is not offended by this. Heaven understands it. God names this wound gently because it formed over time, layer by layer, when waiting stretched longer than your strength. This is for the one who feels stuck in a loop, not because you lack faith, but because hope itself feels risky now. God validates that pain without judgment. You are not weak for guarding your heart. You are human after prolonged delay. And yet, there is a quiet stirring underneath all of this. A faint but persistent sense that something is shifting even if you don't fully trust it yet. Pause here. That stirring is not imagination. It is your spirit recognizing movement before your circumstances catch up. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. Proverbs 13:12. God has not forgotten what you stopped expecting. He has been working beyond your line of sight. Now hear this with clarity and authority. Your season of struggle is over. The chains of stagnation are breaking. The tide is turning. The long pause, the silence, the waiting that made you numb is reaching its end. And a divine acceleration has begun. This is not the moment where you try harder, believe louder, or force yourself to feel excited. This is the moment where responsibility fully shifts. God Himself is taking charge of restoring your hope, reviving your vision, and completing what delay interrupted. In Scripture, Abraham waited years beyond logic for a promise that seemed impossible, and when hope looked biologically and emotionally unreasonable, God fulfilled it anyway. Not because Abraham never doubted, but because God is faithful beyond human timelines. Is anything too hard for the Lord? Genesis 18:14. This is how God works at the edge of surrender. He resurrects expectation, where it quietly died, and brings life where resignation settled in. This moment is not asking you to leap forward. It is asking you to stay present. What comes next in this message will activate and confirm what your spirit has already begun to feel awakening again. And leaving now would mean missing the moment where hope fully crosses from stirring into certainty. Before anything else, let the pressure lift, because you do not need to fix yourself, prove your worth, or carry one more thing to be deserving of what God is doing now. You are allowed to stop striving, allowed to pause without guilt, allowed to be exactly where you are without explaining it to anyone. In this season, alignment does not come from effort, but from permission to rest, to breathe, to step out of urgency and back into trust. You are invited to begin with something very small and very gentle, like allowing a few quiet moments in the morning or evening where nothing is required of you. No performance, no productivity, just space. That space can be as simple as sitting with your hands open, not asking for answers, not rehearsing worries, just letting your body and spirit register safety again. You don't need long prayers or perfect words. Even a soft whisper of, "I'm here," is enough to realign your heart. Throughout your day, you are invited to notice where you are gripping too tightly. A thought about money, a decision about the future, a sense that everything depends on you, and instead of fighting it, allow yourself to release it quietly, even if only for a moment, trusting that God holds what you loosen. Rest here is not withdrawal, it is preparation, not quitting, but consenting to be carried. You may find it helpful to choose one ordinary daily action, drinking water, walking outside, lying down at night, and let it become a moment of receiving rather than managing, reminding yourself that you are supported even when nothing looks different yet. You don't need to rush clarity, solutions, or outcomes, because movement is already happening beyond what you can see. Trust in this season is not loud confidence. It is gentle surrender, letting God do what only God can do while you step out of the role you were never meant to fill. As you release the need to control timing, pace, and results, you create room to receive peace, direction, and provision without strain. You are not falling behind by resting. You are aligning with the flow of grace that makes the next shift possible. You do not need to understand every step. You do not need to predict the outcome. And you do not need to force what is already being prepared for you, because what is meant for you will arrive at the right time, carried by God, not by your effort. As this moment settles, let your heart recognize what it has already felt during this time: the sense of being seen, the quiet release of pressure, the relief of realizing that nothing about your journey has been wasted or overlooked. What stirred inside you was not random, and the tenderness you may feel now is not weakness. It is alignment returning. You are not late, you are not off course, and you have not been forgotten. Even if the road has felt long and unclear, every season you have walked through has carried meaning, including this one, and the pace you are moving at is appropriate for what is being formed within you. There is no rush here, no demand to prove anything, no need to hold yourself together any longer. You are allowed to rest in the truth that you are held, guided, and accompanied, even in the quiet spaces where nothing seems to be happening. What you have sensed today is enough for now, and it will continue to unfold gently in its own time. Stay here, in this calm, and allow yourself to remain present for the stillness that follows, because the next moment is simply an invitation to rest with God. The danger was never that God stopped working. The danger was that you learned to survive without expecting Him to. As we enter this quiet space together, allow your breathing to slow and your shoulders to soften, knowing you are safe here and not required to hold anything together. God, we come just as we are, carrying the tiredness that has settled deep in our bodies, the worry that loops through our minds, the fear of an unclear future, and the weight of responsibilities we have carried longer than we ever expected. We place before you the exhaustion of trying without seeing results, the strain of financial pressure, the heaviness of feeling stuck, and the silent doubt about our own value that crept in when progress felt slow. We are not asking from urgency or panic, but releasing these burdens gently into your care, trusting that you see what words cannot fully express. You are the God who noticed Hagar in the wilderness and allowed her to say, "You are the God who sees me." Genesis 16:13. And we rest in the truth that we are seen in this moment as well. Where our strength has run thin, your presence remains steady. And where our understanding ends, your guidance continues without interruption. In the middle of this stillness, we receive the peace that does not require explanation, the reassurance that nothing is falling apart beyond your reach. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Psalm 23:1. And even now, provision, direction, and care are unfolding in ways we do not need to manage. We acknowledge that you are working behind the scenes, arranging, healing, and preparing what we cannot yet see. And we release the need to control outcomes or timelines. Let your calm settle over anxious thoughts. Let your nearness quiet the fear of what is next. And let your steady hand remind us that we are not alone on this path. We receive your promise, spoken softly into our uncertainty. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. Isaiah 41:10. And we allow that truth to anchor us where we are. In this moment, we choose trust over striving, rest over resistance, and surrender over self-protection, confident that you are carrying what we no longer can. We rest now in your care, knowing that clarity, provision, and peace will arrive in their proper time without being forced. Thank you for meeting us here, for holding us gently, and for walking with us beyond this moment. Stay with us as this quiet continues, and may the peace we feel now remain as we carry on until we meet again. If you feel safe to do so, you are invited to write in the comments whatever is resting on your heart right now. A hope you have not voiced, a worry you have been carrying quietly, a question that has lingered without answers, or a weight you are tired of holding alone. There is no pressure to explain it perfectly. When you write it down, it becomes more than a comment. It becomes an act of release, a way of placing it before God, who sees, listens, and responds in His time. If this moment brought comfort, you may gently share this video with someone who needs the same reassurance. And subscribe to stay connected to these moments of peace. You are not alone, and this moment is being held in God's presence and grace.